Alright, you guys. So if you follow the channel at all, at this point you probably know that the SHOKZ OpenFit has been my favorite clip-on style earbud. It's a more premium approach, but it came with the best sound that I feel like you can get from a clip-on style earbud. But today we're going to talk about SHOKZ's new product, which is the OpenFit Pro. And this is basically them taking their very popular OpenFit series and making a premium version of it. Now it does come in at $249, but I do feel like this is the first time I'm going to be able to say that an open ear style earbud might actually be able to compete with a normal pair of true wireless earbuds when it comes to sound. And we'll talk about that throughout this video. We're definitely going to talk about the features because there's a lot here that actually makes this pair stand out. Now, if you are interested in checking them out, they are going to be available on SHOKZ's website and at Best Buy, which I'll have all of this linked in the description. And also in March is when it's going to start being available on Amazon. So first, let's just go ahead and look at the design of these. It definitely has a very slim profile when it comes to the case. It has a nice, smooth, matte finish to it. The case on these is Qi wireless charging compatible, so that's a huge plus. And the earbuds, they actually went with a smaller profile here as well. It is extremely flexible. It is also extremely soft because it's using their what they call ultra soft silicone 2.0. And it's one of those you can easily just kind of put on and forget that they're there. That's kind of the purpose of an open ear style earbud, because it's meant to be worn all day. And it's meant to be able to be worn in different situations where you can hear your environment. You never have to take them out. And you can actually interact with people and still be able to listen to whatever it is you're listening to, as long as you're not blasting it. I always feel like if you're blasting your open ear products at full blast, it's really hard to hear somebody talk to you, and it's still kind of hard to hear the environment around you. Now, this pair is also using physical buttons, which I also feel like is a huge plus. It keeps you from having like accidental touches, and I am happy to say that out of the box, you do get control over everything. Now, when it comes to some of the tech in here, it is using a dual diaphragm, which expands the frequency range up to 40 kilohertz. This pair also supports Dolby Atmos, so you have head tracking. You have some things that you can kind of tweak within the app to be able to take advantage of this. And I actually found that I was using this a lot on my PC. So having Dolby Atmos mixed with the Bluetooth 6.1, it allowed me to not only use these while editing my videos, but it also allowed me to be connected to the computer and my phone at the same time, because it does support multi-point connection. So it's easy to switch from one device to the other and not have to go into settings and turn one thing off to go connect to another. Now, this pair also has smart sensors, so if I do happen to take them out of my ears, it'll just pause what I'm listening to. It'll go back to what I'm listening to if I put them back on. It does have a very unique feature for an open ear style earbud. This pair actually has noise reduction. It's not noise canceling, but noise reduction in a weird kind of way for something that's not like sitting in your ear canal. There's nothing blocking your ear canal. When you go in the app and switch it into noise reduction mode, you hear everything kind of just quiet down around you a little bit. It kind of like takes it down halfway. It's not one of those that isolates you from everything. It's not something that is just going to just shut off the world around you. But if you are in a noisy environment, it just immediately dulls it down quite a bit. Or if you're in an office environment where it's already kind of quiet and you could just, vaguely hear people talking, that is where it feels like it does start to isolate you from your surroundings. And I think this is a very cool feature because there are a lot of people that can't use normal earbuds. But there are situations where you want to be able to kind of block out things around you, and you can't really do that with an open ear product. But this one actually works in a very surprising way. And there are different adjustments that you can make to the noise reduction. Again, all of this is done within the app. It's very trippy the first time that you actually use this. Now, also within the app, you do get some pre-built EQ options. You can also go in and customize the EQ settings the way that you want. And it also has basically a Find My Earbuds feature, but it's using a ring noise. So, if you kind of lose them in a room and you just can't find them, you can switch this on and it will start making a noise so you can kind of locate where they are. So definitely make sure that you download the app if you own these. Now, as far as the accessories they include, it's pretty minimal here. Obviously, it's not a pair that's using ear tips. So it doesn't come with anything like that, but it does come with these little, I don't even know what to call them. They're basically called a stabilizer. So if you find that maybe they're moving around a little bit and you want to be able to have them be a little bit more secure, you just kind of slide this onto the hook and it gives you some extra grip around your ears. And then as far as anything else, it does come with a USB-C cable, which you could use to charge these. But like I said, it does use Qi wireless charging, so you don't actually have to use this cable to charge them. And speaking of the charging, battery life is pretty impressive on this pair. I've kind of found that throughout my testing, I was getting around 10 hours on the earbuds on a single charge. And with the charging case, you can get about 50 hours total. And if you do happen to pick them up and they are dead, this one does have a fast charging feature, which is very impressive. On a quick 10-minute charge, you can actually get 4 hours of use. Now, if you are going to use these outdoors, they do come in with an IP55 rating. So on top of having, some slight water protection against splashes and rain and some sweat and things like that, it also has dust protection. And again, in a style of earbud like this that's made to be worn all day, it's nice to know that you do have dust protection because you could be using these at the beach. You can be using them on a job site where maybe a lot of dust is going around. And then you just don't have to worry that you're going to damage your earbuds. Now, if you are going to be using these for taking phone calls, it is using those 3 mics to be able to do this. It is using AI voice recognition so that it recognizes your voice and blocks out a lot of the other voices around you. And then it also has wind control. So if you're out on a windy day or you're riding a bike, the mics are also going to make sure to try not to pick up a lot of that noise. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here.
So here is just a quick mic test outdoors. It's not really a windy or noisy day outside, so I'm just walking down the street, but this is just to give you an idea to what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, these definitely put up an argument as to why open earbuds might now be ready to compete with normal true wireless earbuds. This is easily the fullest sound that I've heard from an open ear product. The bass on these are no joke. And in my opinion, they kind of use something that I recommended to companies in the past, especially when it comes to just ear hook style earbuds. I felt like they needed to put haptic feedback into the arms so that you could feel vibration around your ears, and it just kind of adds to the fullness of the sound. And that's not exactly what these are doing, but it is pretty close. You can definitely feel vibration through the ear hooks because of the way that it's positioned in your ears, and because of the way it's channeling the mids and the treble. It just gives you this nice full sound. And I wouldn't say that it's like an overly warm sound because the mids and the treble definitely have some brightness to them. It's very detailed. It's very clean. It does an excellent job with the vocals. So, podcasts, anything that's very vocal driven is really going to stand out. But for the first time, honestly, for an open ear style product, it does really well with bass heavy type of music as well. So if you listen to a lot of pop or hip hop or even metal with like the double bass of the drums, you finally have something in an open ear product that can make you feel those things. And it doesn't feel like it's just a speaker that's kind of at a distance and it's kind of tinny sounding like a lot of open ear products usually come across. So whatever they did here, and because of like the noise reduction, you can start to get that isolated sound a little bit better. You can also get the punch of the low end. Again, this is why I feel like we're definitely stepping into that territory where you can have something that you could wear all day and now have that regular true wireless earbud sound and not just something that's always taking a few steps back. And obviously because of its design, it is very open sounding. And because of, things like the Dolby Atmos, if you want to use that, it does a really good job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So my overall opinion on these is this. If you're looking for like the most premium offering that you can get in an ear hook, open ear style earbud, this is going to be the one that you're looking at. And if you want something that is very, very close to a regular pair of true wireless earbuds when it comes to being able to take advantage of things like bass and a little bit better isolation because of the noise reduction, you're not going to find another pair that can actually compete with these. I feel like, again, this is the first step in the right direction. And again, I'm just very impressed with what they've been able to do here. But guys, that wraps up my video on the SHOKZ OpenFit Pro. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.